Hi, I'm Nancy DeSantis, co-founder of Horses for Heroes New Mexico Incorporated in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where we work with post 9/11 veterans and active military. If you're interested in seeing what we offer, please head on over to our website at horsesforheroes.org. This video is about the brain. Dr. Dan Siegel says, when we can see what's going on inside our brain, we can change what the brain does. So I'm going to take you on a virtual tour of his hand model of the brain. Now the fist here is the brain, and it situates inside the skull like so. My forearm represents the spinal cord. Spinal cord comes up into the brainstem, and the brainstem and the limbic system work together to regulate arousal, emotion, and how we have fight, flight, or freeze. Then we have our higher cortex, which is responsible for thinking and reasoning. This is where we're tuned in and connected. This is where we can perceive another and where we can perceive the overall picture of what's going on. So I want to talk in particularly about the prefrontal cortex, which is right here behind our forehead. The prefrontal cortex downregulates the limbic system because here's the thing, you can't have two things occupy the same space at the same time. You're either going to be tuned in and connected, or you're going to lose response flexibility and be in your limbic system. So let me explain. If you're not feeding a brain the nutrients that it needs to be healthy, it's going to be at a deficit. Things also like not sleeping, where the brain can't enter states of where it detoxes and rejuvenates. If you're at a deficit for sleeping, you're going to affect your brain. Now, there's other things like skipping a meal. And that would be things like low blood sugar, and you don't even have to be a diabetic. But that's going to affect your brain because you're going to feel cranky, irritable, and argumentative. So the thing about blood sugar that I want you to take away from here is make sure that you understand that when our blood sugar is out of balance, it can often get mistaken for psychiatric disorders. So you want to make sure that your blood sugar is intact, just like the rest of your diet, and that all your systems are running correctly and accurately and optimally, because then your body can work optimally. So here's how it looks like. I wake up and I'm already tired and I'm exhausted, and somebody just looks at me in the wrong way, or they say something to step on an emotional button, or maybe they cut me off in traffic. Well, I can flip my lid. I've lost all response flexibility, and I want to make my way back into being tuned in and connected. When we lose response flexibility, and we're in a limbic state, we can't think. We are just purely going to be in a defensive state. Like when we argue with one another, do you wonder why nothing gets done? It's because you're both limbic. You can't. You've lost response flexibility because you can communicate only when your prefrontal cortex is online. So how do we go from a limbic state to being tuned in and connected? I'll tell you. What I want you to start practicing, and I invite you to start practicing, is smooth rhythmic breathing with a long exhale. And what that means is extending your exhale, making sure that it's longer exhale than your inhale. And so here's what it looks like. You're going to take a large breath, and you're going to purse your lips to extend your exhale. Did you feel a shift in your nervous system? Well, if you followed my breathing pattern, what we're doing is we're toning the vagus nerve, which is in control of our heart rate, to downregulate our system or upregulate our system. But that's a topic for another time. So what I want you to take away from here is you want to practice that breathing so that it becomes a skill for you that you can call on when you become limbic, which is argumentative, or you're going to be fighting or taking flight. And then also if you're anxious, so like in a panic attack, if you have this skill of wired on and in your system, you can call on that breathing skill to stop a panic attack within 10 minutes. So, but there's a lot of other things that happen with anxiety that I can't go into in this video. But what I do want to tell you is Dr. Dan Siegel says you can teach this hand model to kids as young as 5, which means you give them a way to communicate when they're going to go limbic. So they could come in and say, Dad, I'm about to go limbic, or I'm about to flip my lid, right? And so what you can do is take your son or daughter and work with them to down regulate their nervous system so that they can be connected to themselves and connected to you. And that's what we want. So this is some of the stuff that I teach our veterans and our active military and their families. We do a lot more than just riding horses here. Our horses are a pivotal feature in what we do, especially in our groundwork and in our Wisdom Way for Warriors work. So if you want to find out more, visit horsesforheroes.org. And thanks for watching the video. Bye.